check that out. So now we are joining us right now is Jacques Munro from Munro Realty, who's going to talk to us a little bit about getting your credit cleaned up. So Jacques is all about, he's a broker here in the Valley. He's had over 30 years experience, which you don't look like you've had over 30 years experience.
Well, thank you, and thank you for having me, Daphne.
Right.
Let's just say over 20.
Okay, fair enough. Like, don't overage me. Don't overage me. So anyways, Jacques.
Yeah, I brought my cane. Thank goodness for that.
So you're going to talk about, you know, in order for people to, for you to sell them a house, they have to somehow be approved for mortgage or have money to afford that house. So you're saying that, you know, having clean credit is super, super, super important. But before we get started, I got to just do my little smart shopper stuff.
Please do.
Every year for free, you can get a free annual credit report. And it's at freeannualcreditreport.com. It's a government issued. You can get it once a year. So in order to stay at top of things, to find out whether you have good credit or not, you probably want to look at that credit report. And the number that you're striving for is over 700.
That's exactly.
And if you can get 800, you are golden.
Absolutely. Actually, 740 is kind of that key number.
Yeah, but 800, you can walk into a bank and be like, hey, I don't have any money, but can you loan me money because I got good credit, and they'll give it to you.
They fall at your feet, Daphne.
Yep, they do.
So apparently another resource for those that need assistance in cleaning up their credit is Fresh Start. So that is wonderful.
Yeah.
A lot of resources where you can try to do this yourself. And you and I have spoken about this
yes, we've
as well.
debated this issue. Jacques and I debate a lot about things.
I think that you hire an expert to help you with that.
And why is that?
Well, because number one, I think that any kind of savings that you could have or accomplish in doing it yourself is outweighed by having a seasoned expert, a reputable company who's paid to do that, that's actually moving forward and doing that, accomplishing the good credit goal. And I think that the cost is quite affordable.
Well, how much
across
is
the
the
board? Exactly. You know, most of the companies, and there are several out there, I kind of looked through the internet to see. Typically, the startup cost would be between $100 and $200, and then typically it's billed monthly, and you can cancel any time as a general rule, and it's about $100 a month. So
To clean up your credit or to monitor
Absolutely.
your credit? That's where I'm
to
looking.
clean it.
Okay, okay.
And so
You don't just pay them a flat fee?
I suppose that could be negotiated, but I think it's typically done on a monthly basis.
Okay.
The startup plus a monthly. And there are some, you know, companies out there, and I know that, you know, the credit cleaning companies, some of them have a bad reputation. So you have to kind of do your own due diligence. I mean, there are resources you can go, you can look online, look at reviews, contact the Better Business Bureau and see what they're about. Go by referral. We have clients that come to us, especially after the market crash. You know, people having foreclosures, bankruptcies. This is something that, you know, in years past, so, you know, 15 years ago or so, it was a rarity. But after 2009, 2010, 2011, I mean, this is a very common occurrence, or it was. And so people are coming back and they need help. So over the years, we referred to one particular company, and I have a lot of respect for them. They're family owned. They've been doing this since 2003. You know, they're not sponsoring me in any way here, but they're called Go Clean Credit.
Okay.
And
So you're giving objective information. They're not paying you money.
Absolutely right. No, nothing whatsoever. I mean, it's inexpensive, and they actually delivered on what they said they were going to do.
So you've referred many of your clients there.
Absolutely right.
Now, do you know what they charge?
I do, in keeping with what, you know, the general charges are. So $200 for startup, $100 a month. I know that there are certain programs that they may have where you can do a shorter term, but frankly, that seems like a very good value to me. And the thing is too is that, and I was saying, well, what would be the difference from, you know, again, minimum threshold credit versus sterling credit? And it's like, oh yeah, well, you know, it's $300 a month, so you figure about 50%. So it's like, okay, you calculate that out, you know,
Just
over
like
10 years it takes to pay down, you know, the 20% of the loan, basically to do away altogether with the mortgage insurance, and you know, you're looking, you know, pretty easily another $15,000.
Right. Or you could just be someone that's like, I just need to get into a house,
Right.
get into that house, turn around and sell it in 2 years.
Right.
Right? And then keep on building from there. That's what I did. 'Cause
Sure.
I had awful credit when I was a kid. I bought my first house at 21 years old. I was
Right.
really, really young. And I had some pretty, not bad credit, but, you know, didn't make good choices in college, and it hurt me a little bit. And I had to go with, like, you know, we get penalized a little bit of a higher interest rate, but, you know, I had that house, I got in, And then I sold that house 5 years later, and then from there I've had impeccable credit, and I've built up myself since then. And so that's the wonderful thing about some of these programs is that they help people that are just, trying to get ahead.
Gosh, it's so important. I mean, especially if you're cost conscious. So, where you're looking for the volume, you're looking to save money. But really, the most significant way in which a person wastes money is by having bad credit.
Yeah.
And having to, credit card interest rates as well. I mean, platinum premium credit card rates was 4% compared to 23% or 29%. This translates into thousands of dollars.
Right.
An automobile loan, $25,000 car loan.
Yeah.
That again, the difference between just the minimum, because sometimes, by the way, your credit doesn't meet the threshold and you don't get that car loan. You don't get the house. You're not approved as a tenant. So I mean, I'm saying, okay, just you get just the minimum threshold, but on again, $25,000 car loan is a difference of $6,000. So for a $25,000 car, you're paying $31,000. So that's a really good way to save money. And then again, it's not like you're paying somebody 10 grand to do this for you. A couple $100 and $100 a month.
Right.
Seems like a pretty good
Right,
bargain.
when you walk into the car place, so how much do you want to spend a month? That's when you walk right out. That's when you walk right out. You say, no, we're good. So, so give me the names of those companies again.
Well, I think that there's one that I'm not familiar with, but I think that they've got a pretty good reputation. It was mentioned to me by different people. I think it's called Lexington Law.
It is.
Okay.
It is. I was going to say, yeah.
Yeah.
And I had a friend that went to Lexington Law, reputable,
Mhm.
and they work with you on your monthly. You were saying $100 a month. It's flat fee, but they'll work with you on your monthly depending on the problems and issues that you have.
Exactly so.
And eventually they'll cut it down. After a couple of months, they'll cut you down to $40 a month.
Because they're having to service you less.
Yeah, they're having to service you less. Yeah.
And that's exactly right. And I didn't know that we were going to have enough time to go into that, but
Well, we've gone so over today, we just might as well. But I got into the show at noon. I know that.
All right, but that, and I would think that it would be the same for Lexington Law, but go clean credit, and that's what one of their reps told me today. I said, well, Jacques, it really depends too on, where you're at credit score wise, because we can tailor something for you. So yeah, it doesn't have to go ongoing for 6 months or beyond that. It could even be, a 4-month type deal. But in other words, it's the best money you'll ever spend.
Right.
It's just no question about it.
Okay, well, I like it. So Jacques, always some great advice. So you're kind of like a one-stop shop. Munro Realty is a one-stop shop. Am I correct on that? So if I came to you as a client with bad credit and I wanted to buy a house and I had a job, then you could just service me all the way. You can find me a mortgage broker, you find me how to clean up my credit, and you'll find me a house at a good price, right?
Yes, we will.
And a car loan too, he said it.
Yeah, he'll throw in a car that if you buy a house.
A Ferrari.
You're gonna have to go with your brother on that one. He's more of an expert. He's a car dealer.
Yeah, my brother happens to be a car dealer. Yeah. Just happens to be. Anyways, it's Munro Realty, and if you guys need to get a hold of them, just look up munrorealty.com. And as you know, Jacques is always on the show, and he's a part of the show. We are forever friends, right? Okay, so thanks. Okay, so moving forward, Blade,